he willingly becomes Qian, remolding his physical body. Returning to the ancient primordial world is his goal, while Ye Hao considers himself and the profound Heaven Divine Hall as his treasures. He's naturally indestructible. No need to call me senior. I have long fallen. I'm just a wisp of lingering soul clinging to life. The profound heaven god's expression was somewhat downcast. Qian wore a faint smile. Senior, there's no need to be sad. In the future, you will definitely be able to reshape your body and ascend to the peak again of your position. It's just that following someone like Ye Hao, who is selfish and greedy. The profound heaven god knew what Qian meant and smiled faintly. No need to sow discord. I have lived for countless years. I know what's what. Ye Hao's current strength is indeed lacking. He has only cultivated for less than 60 years. His future is limitless. Hearing what the profound heaven god said, Ye Hao finally breathed a sigh of relief. He was afraid the profound heaven god would leave with the profound heaven divine hall, abandoning him. If that happened, he would truly be on a dead end. You misunderstood me. Qian spoke. The profound heaven god was stunned. What do you mean? Are you not here for the profound heaven divine hall? Ha ha ha. Qian laughed heartily. Senior, you think too lowly of my ambitions. I am not like Ye Hao, that narrow-minded fool. I have always believed that my own strength surpasses all treasures. The profound heaven god frowned in confusion. If it's not for the profound heaven divine hall, then why have you trapped me here? Qian shook his head. And then, surprisingly, he did something that left the profound heaven god utterly astonished. Qian raised his hand. The heaven-sealing earth-locking tower, a sacred artifact that seals heaven and earth, rapidly shrank, transforming into countless static runes in the sky, finally condensing into a miniature tower in Qian's palm. If you want to leave, senior, just go. My heart isn't so narrow. I wouldn't do something like killing and plundering a junior. Ye Hao saw this and was immediately overjoyed. Don't trust him. Senior, he's playing hard to get. His true goal is still the profound heaven divine hall. We need to run. Qian is very confident. The profound heaven god, as an ancient powerhouse, and I have already shown my respect towards him. He would never simply run away, and the reality is exactly as Qian predicted. The profound heaven god did not flee. His expression was filled with confusion. Even having lived for countless years, and having witnessed all kinds of people, the feeling Qian gave him was still incredibly strange. A man like this is worth having a deeper conversation with. You're not here for the profound heaven divine hall. Could it be that you're here for me? The profound heaven god was extremely doubtful. Qian nodded. That's right. It's precisely for you. Qian is not driven by lust. He wouldn't just take a beautiful woman he saw. Qian sees further. The profound heaven god was puzzled. I'm just a wisp of a remnant soul. Is my attraction to you even higher than the profound heaven divine hall? The profound heaven divine hall is even a top-tier artifact that can traverse realms. Besides this, its defensive capabilities are also unparalleled. It can even suppress the destiny of a realm, making it rapidly rise. Are you really not moved at all? Qian nodded. It's impossible to say I'm not moved. But the profound heaven divine hall is your treasure. Senior, I won't covet it. Since you can possess an extraordinary treasure like the profound heaven divine hall, your future achievements won't be below that of the profound heaven divine hall. The profound heaven god finally understood Qian's thoughts. In the end, your goal is still the profound heaven divine hall. You know that I can control the profound heaven divine hall. So if you persuade me, you can naturally obtain the profound heaven divine hall. Ye Hao quickly chimed in. Yes, Qian is too despicable. Senior, we should leave quickly. Qian shook his head. Senior, you still don't understand. The profound heaven divine hall is good, but that is your treasure. Senior, my target is you. Senior, as long as you agree, I will exert the full power of the Gu clan to reshape your physical body. At that time, you can control the profound heaven divine hall and begin your true rise to power, instead of being like now, needing to rely on others, hoping for the future. Will this person give you the materials to reshape your physical body? Actually, Qian did want to grab it directly at first, but he wasn't confident. After all, Ye Hao is the protagonist, and the profound heaven divine hall is a divine artifact. It might break the seal of the heaven-sealing earth-locking tower, and through the ancient immortal fate eye, he saw Ye Hao's vessel. After the falling out with Liu Ruyan, his destiny seemed to have dimmed, but his destiny didn't disappear. There were too many variables, indicating that other accidents might occur. In short, Ye Hao is not easy to kill, so Qian simply changed his approach. If forceful seizure wouldn't work, then he would have the owner of the profound heaven divine hall willingly submit to him. The profound heaven god's beautiful eyes flashed with divine light. Ye Hao was afraid the profound heaven god would be moved. He quickly reminded, "Senior, you must not trust him. If you really fall into his hands, with his greed, he will definitely kill you to enjoy the profound heaven divine hall alone." Qian remained unmoved by Ye Hao's accusations. A clown like Ye Hao, he will be killed sooner or later. After a moment, the profound heaven god blinked her eyes. "The conditions you offer are indeed tempting, but I refuse." Ye Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Qian was not surprised at all. If the profound heaven god was converted just like that, Qian would feel uneasy instead. "Refusal was within my expectations. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't have taken an interest in you. Senior, what I need is not a callous and ungrateful powerhouse, but an extraordinary figure like you, Senior, who values loyalty and righteousness, who will not forget past kindnesses after rising to power in the future." Qian was telling the truth. Even for a waste like Ye Hao, the profound heaven god was willing to assist, let alone himself. It went without saying. And compared to acquiring the profound heaven divine hall himself, Qian had a better option: to transform the profound heaven god into a Gu clan member. In this way, whether he controls the profound heaven divine hall or the profound heaven god controls it, it could suppress the Gu clan's destiny. And as the head of the Gu clan, he would naturally be the beneficiary instead of suppressing the male lead. It was better to have the male lead's cheat leave him. Qian was eager for that day to come soon. The profound heaven god couldn't help but be a little curious. "Do you have a feud with Ye Hao? Aren't you afraid he'll rise up and kill you?" Qian of the Gu clan glanced at Ye Hao. "He is nothing more than a clown in my eyes through this matter. You should have seen this child's character. His words are flowery and glamorous, hypocritical and sanctimonious. But in reality, he's just a selfish and greedy person. Considering Ruyan had a connection with him, I'll spare his life. It's also a complete end to Ruyan's karma with him." Having said this, Qian looked at Liu Ruyan not far away, giving her a smile that felt like a spring breeze. Liu Ruyan was moved, facing the exceptionally handsome Qian. She felt a heart-pounding emotion. The profound heaven god took a deep look at Qian. "Qian, you are clearly plotting against me." Ye Hao's face flushed red, about to argue, but was stopped by the profound heaven god. "All right, since you are willing to let him go, don't regret it in the future." The profound heaven god took a deep look at Qian, and then returned to the depths of Ye Hao Zifu Stone Sea. Qian gave him a good feeling, although he used people's hearts to scheme shamelessly. But he was magnanimous enough to let Ye Hao leave. This shows his nature. His city is that of a generation's overlord. The god also thought at first that Qian was a villain who committed all kinds of evil, relying on the Gu clan's power. He suppressed the former dynasty's emperor and kidnapped Liu Ruyan, forcibly engaging in dual cultivation to upgrade his aptitudes, but never thought that all of this was a trap in order to expose Ye Hao's true colors, making Liu Ruyan lose all hope in Ye Hao, so that she would willingly cooperate with him to trap him. In fact, the profound heaven god really couldn't break the situation. She was originally prepared to self-destruct the profound heaven divine hall, but unexpectedly, Qian's goal wasn't for the profound heaven divine hall, but to subdue her. In other words, Qian was not a villain from beginning to end. She misunderstood him regarding the conditions that Qian offered. The profound heaven god was very tempted, but she couldn't. Although there is something wrong with Ye Hao's character, they had spent some time together. She had developed some emotional bond with this young man. If just because of Qian's words, she would abandon Ye Hao, then the profound heaven god would be too despicable. And Ye Hao possesses great destiny. His future achievements are immeasurable. He will surely be able to collect all the insect essence for her, the materials to reshape her body. But in Ye Hao's heart, the seed of suspicion has been sown and will gradually germinate in the following time. "Uncle Gu, why didn't you kill Ye Hao to get rid of future troubles?" Liu Ruyan moved closer to Qian. With confusion, even she understood the principle of cutting weeds and roots, especially since Ye Hao has the profound heaven divine hall. He will definitely grow into a major concern for the Gu clan in the future. Ye Hao is not to be feared. As long as we push him a bit, he himself can abandon the profound heaven divine hall. Liu Ruyan couldn't understand Qian's thoughts. As expected, people have to be old to be profound. When will I be as resourceful as Uncle Gu to see the essence of a person at a single glance? Qian is not an ordinary big villain, letting the protagonist go unkilled. confident that the protagonist couldn't stir up any trouble. And then, in the future, the protagonist would rise and destroy his family. The real reason for letting Ye Hao leave is because he lacked confidence. If the profound Heaven Divine Hall was unable to break the heaven-sealing earth-locking tower, then there was only one possibility, that it had support. Fellow Taoist, have you not left yet? Qian said tentatively. As Qian's voice fell, the space in the distant sky rippled. King walked over with graceful steps, each step creating a living being. Qian, you have some courage. Even when facing such a divine artifact, you were able to say let it go, and then let it go. King had never left. As smart as she was, she had sensed the unusual signs before. The reason she was still hiding in the dark was not to save Ye Hao, but to see what Qian really wanted to do. Courage is not something to be talked about. After all, I'm very clear. Even if I forcefully make a move, I wouldn't be able to obtain that divine artifact, Qian stated truthfully. The implication is that you are watching me in secret, even if he really got his hands on it. You will use your relationship with Ye Hao to interfere? King saw the abnormality in Qian's body and smiled. I misjudged you before. I didn't expect you to be able to do this for a junior. To such an extent, you are not so callous and ungrateful after all. In King S' impression, Qian is cold and heartless, only loving his own children. He is also an extremely selfish person. It is impossible for him to not take the benefits in front of him. He could clearly absorb it. Liu Ruyan's clear ice soul immortal physique. But now he is even enduring the bone-chilling cold of the clear ice plains, and won't absorb the benefits that are easily within reach. This really made King S' perception of Qian change greatly. Qian is naturally not a good person. The reason he is not absorbing it is for a long-term plan. And with Liu Ruyan having this relationship, Wang Fu Wuji wouldn't think about rebelling against the Gu clan anymore. The most important thing is dual cultivating with Liu Ruyan. That wonderful taste of ice and fire really made Qian linger on. Although he is now a great power in the earthly territory, Qian did not suppress the needs of his body's instincts. How long do you think until this continent merges with the 3,000 Dao provinces? Qian asked. In the original plot, at this current timeline, the next place the protagonist will go is the Zuo Dao Sword, 3,000 great Daos, and 800 side paths. The so-called One Continent is the Zuo Dao Sword, a vast sword domain that will soon merge with the 3,000 Dao provinces, where the protagonist Ye Hao will gain countless opportunities. There will even be an even more heaven-defying opportunity than obtaining the profound Heaven Divine Hall. It's soon. There are already people crossing the void, entering the Zuo Dao realm. It is said that there are countless opportunities there. King S' eyes showed anticipation. Qian pretended to be worried. The chaotic era has arrived. This is only the beginning. After all, the era where the protagonist appears will be chaotic. Something is bound to happen. However, Qian has not finished reading the original novel. He doesn't know what that author is thinking. In short, after the Zuo Dao realm merges with the 3,000 Dao provinces, the 3,000 Dao provinces will merge with higher realms in the future. Therefore, Qian needs the profound Heaven Divine Hall to suppress the Gu clan's destiny, to prevent them from being destroyed in the turbulent era. It's still too early now. There's no need to rush this matter. What do you know? King S' eyes were solemn, like Qian. King is also the highest authority of an unparalleled Dao lineage. Qian remained mysterious. You will know it in the future. Let's meet again after speaking. Qian disappeared with Liu Ruyan. King remained silent for a long time, unable to figure anything out. She also stepped out, leaving no trace of the Gu clan. The Gu clan members who were watching the excitement had not yet dispersed. Seeing that Qian had brought Liu Ruyan with him back to the clan, they were a little confused, and seeing the expression on Liu Ruyan's face, it was very, very strange. Back in the clan leader's small world, Liu Ruyan's face was extremely flushed. Her eyes were darting around, not daring to look. If Qian wants to take back the Clear Ice Soul Immortal Physique aptitude, he has to have another dual cultivation. Through the fusion of Yin and Yang Essence energy, he can transfer the Clear Ice Soul Immortal Physique, Uncle Goose said. Qian was quite satisfied with Liu Ruyan's performance. This female lead is not bad, not the arrogant, brainless type. She can be kept by his side to become his assistant. In front of outsiders, you can call me uncle. I won't fault you, but here, it's just the two of us. What should you call me? Liu Ruyan's fair face blushed. Her voice was soft and gentle. Brother Qian. Qian smiled. His hands started to wander restlessly on Liu Ruyan's body. Don't be indecent. In the future, Gu Qian returned Liu Ruyan's clear-eyed soul immortal physique. Anyway, these kinds of things, there is only the first time, and then countless times of experience. Dual cultivating with him, the exquisite Liu Ruyan is absolutely addictive. Absorbing the pure spirit physique, it definitely boosts cultivation, enhances the solar supreme body, but dual cultivation works just as well. You can also experience the bliss of ice and fire. Why kill the goose that lays the golden eggs? Liu Ruyan nestled in Gu Qian's embrace. Her beautiful eyes were filled with happiness after dual cultivation. The side effects of the pure spirit physique had been eliminated. Her body no longer needs to endure the suffering of cold, but she is somewhat lost. It's over with Ye Hao. What should she do in the future? Brother Qian, what kind of relationship do you think we have? Gu Qian can't say it's a Dao companion relationship. Now is not the time yet. You don't need to dwell on it. Once we leave the Gu clan, you are still the princess of the Taiji immortal dynasty. Heavenly beauty, peerless and unmatched. Gu Qian caresses Liu Ruyan's cheek. This answer makes Liu Ruyan a little disappointed. I understand. With melancholy and confusion, Liu Ruyan is sent back to the Taiji immortal dynasty by Gu Qian. The biggest beneficiary of this scheme is Liu Ruyan. Not only has her cultivation reached a higher realm, but her treasures have also been recovered, and the coldness of her physique has been resolved. Most importantly, she has seen through the true face of that scumbag. Ye Hao, but she can't be happy. The infinite fantasies of the future. When she was with Ye Hao have vanished. She doesn't know what to do. Gu Qian clearly knows what Liu Ruyan is thinking. A love-obsessed girl like this will definitely be immersed in the pain of heartbreak. Continue with the next relationship to fill the void. So at that time, Liu Ruyan will regard himself as a replacement for Ye Hao. Gu Qian will not let her have her way. Only when Liu Ruyan truly lets go will a new relationship begin. Otherwise, it is very likely that in the future, Liu Ruyan will still remember the good of Ye Hao. The higher the realm, the fewer the female powerhouses. The reason for this is because women are too emotional. They are easily trapped by emotions into eternal damnation. After Gu Qian returned to the clan, he convened a meeting about the upcoming connection with the Left Dao realm. The convergence of the two realms inevitably means the strong will annex the weak, and the area of the Left Dao realm is only about 3-0 to Zhou, about a quarter of the size. Naturally, it will be the one to be annexed, but the integration process will still take quite some time. He gave some instructions on matters to note when entering the Left Dao realm. Actually, there's not much to say. You just need to get to the biggest opportunity before the protagonist does and snatch it away. After the instructions, Gu Kun entered the council hall. Father, why did Ruyan come back with you? What exactly happened between you two? Gu Kun was injured in the previous battle with Ye Hao, and he hasn't recovered yet. When he heard Gu Qian came back with Liu Ruyan, he immediately rushed to the council hall to question. In the past, the elders, seeing how Gu Qian spoiled Gu Kun, would turn a blind eye to his unreasonable behavior. But now Gu Qian no longer spoils him, and the position of the young clan leader has been abolished. So there is nothing to worry about. They no longer need to be considerate of him. Clan leader Gu Qian is discussing important matters with us. You, a junior, quickly retreat. Gu Qian waved his hand. Go wait outside first. Come with me later. The clan leader will inform you, father to son, of the whole matter. For Gu Kun, Gu Qian has been completely disappointed. He originally wanted to spare his life for the sake of the body's original owner. But now it seems this guy is beyond saving. Then there's only one way. Kill him. Gu Kun is an ancient holy body, and also his own bloodline. So this body can be put to good use. After explaining the matters of the Left Dao realm, Gu Qian announced the restoration of Gu Kun's position as young clan leader. Blood is thicker than water, eh? Many clan members didn't say anything on the surface, but they were complaining inwardly. An elder from the main branch spoke up. Clan leader, this matter is somewhat inappropriate. Recently, Gu Kun and Gu He had been quite close. For a woman, Gu Kun did not hesitate to approach Gu He, and Gu He is a strong contender for the next clan leader. Under Gu Qian's leadership, the main branch over the years gave the most precious cultivation resources to Gu Kun. But Gu Kun turned around and gave them to Liu Ruyan, which has already made other clan members of the main branch dissatisfied. Now, Gu Kun is openly walking with Gu He, and the consequence will be that the branch where Gu He is may become the main branch, enjoying the best resources within the clan. They thought Gu Qian would change, but unexpectedly, he has now restored Gu Kun's position as young clan leader. How could this not enrage the other members of the main branch? It doesn't matter. Connor is my son. I will give him the most correct guidance. He will become a qualified young clan leader and become the leading figure of the younger generation of my Gu clan. Hearing Gu Qian's tone being so certain, the other clan members did not say much. Gu Qian walked out of the council hall. Gu Kun hurried forward. Father, Gu Kun breathed a sigh of relief. The position of young clan leader has been restored. If that's the case, there is a big problem here. Maybe it's not what I thought. Actually, nothing happened between Father and Ruyan. Everything he did was for me. After all, I am Father's only biological son. And Gu Qian's next words further confirm this. In order to make Ruyan break up with Ye Hao, Father has paid a lot. Don't worry. You are your father's most beloved son. How could Father steal your woman? Gu Kun was overjoyed. I knew it would be like this. With Wei Fu, the clan elder, Wei Fu told him everything that had happened. Gu Qian smiled and said, but his smile concealed a subtle but sinister undertone. Yes, Father. Gu Kun followed Gu Qian like a dog, his mind fantasizing that the pure Ruyan was going to be with him. But when Gu Kun entered the clan leader pit, Gu Qian directly isolated the small world from the outside world and sealed Gu Kun's cultivation. Gu Kun was imprisoned, feeling a little confused. Father, why is this? Gu Qian didn't say anything. There is nothing to say to a dead man. This kind of stupid trash-licking dog son will only be experienced packs and stepping stones for the protagonist. I thought you would drag the clan down for offending the protagonist, but unexpectedly for a woman. You went to collude with others to deal with your own father. A son who specializes in digging pits for his father is not worth keeping. Gu Qian's palm pressed on Gu Kun's head, forcibly erasing Gu Kun's will. Father, you want to kill me? If there is a next life, I will definitely. Gu Kun's will was constantly erased, leaving only a sentence of bewilderment. I gave you a chance, but you repeatedly court death in front of me. If not you, then who? It's a pity that if your ancient holy body could be fully developed and unlock the ancient true form for 1 minute of invincibility, the trip to the left Dao realm could have certainly benefited me. Thinking of this, Gu Qian made his move. He raised his hand and made a grasping motion toward Gu Kun's body, using an evil secret technique to extract the ancient holy origin within Gu Kun's body. In no time, a ball of ancient origin force floated in front of Gu Qian. It contained infinite mysteries. It was as if one could see an ancient great world within it. As for Gu Kun's body, it turned to ashes, completely disappearing. Next, he would begin to reshape a new body. After all, this stupid son still had a powerful mother. It was not advisable to have a direct conflict with her now. Reshape a body, also to facilitate my next actions. Then Gu Qian from the Gu clan treasury took out pieces of heaven and earth treasures for reshaping the body, integrating them into the origin of the ancient holy body. Then he fused his own bloodline into it and separated a portion of his divine soul according to Gu Kun's appearance. He cultivated a new ancient holy body. Gu Qian operated the 6 Yong Qian Kun technique. From the center of his brow flew out a wisp of will, transforming into a black seed. 6 Yong Qian Kun technique sounds very righteous, but it also has the means of evil cultivators. By integrating a wisp of his own will into the origin of Yongche, turning it into a Yang seed, he can control the inner demons of living beings. The living beings who have been implanted with Yang seeds grow to a certain extent. All of it will become a wedding dress for Gu Qian. Just wait until the trip to the left Dao realm ends, and he can completely absorb it. This body reshaped with heaven and earth treasures, and the ancient origin force within it, amplifying his own solar supreme body. After devouring the ancient holy body and Ye Hao's 9 Yang holy body, the solar supreme body will definitely transform into the Qian Yang emperor body, while waiting for the process of reshaping the external avatar. Gu Qian also took the time to consolidate his cultivation. He had just broken through when he crossed over. Then he cultivated with Liu Ruyan. His cultivation level increased from the 1st level of the Xingdi realm to the 5th level. There was still more than a year before going to the left Dao realm. Just right to consolidate his cultivation first. Ye Hao, I'll give you another test. If you fail, I will take away your golden finger. Old man, Zhuan Che Shenzhen Senior, I will reshape your body and let you become a Gu clan member, becoming my sharp blade for hunting the sons of destiny. The external avatar takes the origin of the ancient holy body as its core. After reshaping the body, he fused his own bloodline power into it, and a small portion of his divine soul. The same, so it is like creating a small account to mingle among the geniuses. It is not a split body, and he will not have any physical contact with the female leads. More than a year later, inside this small world at the top of the clan leader peak, the external avatar sitting in front of Qian silently opened its eyes. Qian and the external avatar looked at each other. Their gazes were exactly the same. This feeling is very peculiar. It's like looking in a mirror. One will, two bodies. Hey, interesting. Qian and Kun reached out to touch each other. They felt to different textures. Qian had just left the small world. When He came to find him, Zikun. I went to the Taiji Immortal Dynasty to confirm. Princess Ryan has indeed lost her virginity. Her body was taken by your father. Qian sneered inwardly. After I restored Kun's identity as young clan leader, this old bastard is afraid that Kun will alienate himself. So he came to continue to sow discord. But you still don't know, do you? The current Kun is his old man. Nonsense. So what if she was defiled by my father? My father and I are one. If your father slept with her, it's as if I slept with her. He widened his eyes. What kind of heaven-defying statement is this? If father sleeps with her, it's as if I slept with her. Then, according to what you're saying, if your father hurt your mother, it's the same as you hurting your mother. He did not spit out this remark. Otherwise, Kun would definitely go berserk. Kun, what did your father tell you? He has taken away your beloved Princess Ryan. He did not give up. Kun is an ancient holy body. If he can get closer to him, he will be closer to the position of the next clan leader. Qian sneered. Father told me everything. That was just acting, to expose Ye Hao's true colors. I knew it. Ye Hao slept with Ryan with such a background and aptitude. That's how he got close to Ryan. I am the true destined one for Ryan. Hearing Qian say this, He dispelled his doubts. At first, he thought that Qian had done something to Kun. So that's what happened. Acting is true. But Princess Ryan seems to have fallen in love with your father again. He continued to sow discord. Qian's brow bloomed with a treasured light. A 3-foot Qingfeng sword fell into his hand, pointing at He. Stop trying to sow discord between my father and me. My father is single-minded for my sake. Even if Ryan really likes my father, I would only give them my blessings. He's face turned ugly. He snorted coldly and left with a swish, muttering in his mouth. What kind of love potion did Qian give this kid? Qian looked at He's back, his eyes flashing with a dangerous light. This guy is too ambitious, coveting the position of clan leader. And his methods are also very despicable. He needs to find a way to get rid of him. The original Kun had extremely poor connections within the clan. Qian had experienced that all the way here. The clan members he passed by avoided him from afar. There's no way. Who told Kun to have the best resources? But he gave them to Liu Ruyan. Qian pondered on this. It seems that it's not just the conflict between the main and side branches. Even the internal problems within the main branch are huge. Now is a good opportunity to use Kun's identity to win hearts in this trial of the left Dao realm. Then find a way to eliminate the barriers between the main and side branches. The left Dao realm is about to merge with the 3 Zero Dao provinces. The young generation of the Taiji Immortal Dynasty gathered. At the main city square of the Immortal Dynasty, there were princesses and princes, and also the children of the great figures of the Immortal Dynasty. Qian sat on the teleportation array and came to the Taiji Immortal Dynasty. The princesses and princes of the Taiji Immortal Dynasty were very familiar with Kun. He used to run to the Taiji Immortal Dynasty every few days. Every time he came, he would also bring precious cultivation resources. Where's Ryan? Qian asked. As expected, he still came for Princess Ryan. Princess Ryan is still cultivating. She has been in seclusion for more than a year. Qian went straight to the Immortal Palace and came outside Liu Ruyan's boudoir. Ryan, you are depressed. Aren't you going inside the room? Liu Ruyan's tone was impolite. It's none of your business. Liu Ruyan has also been consolidating her cultivation in the past year. Her progress in dual cultivation with Qian has been great. From the 4th level of the Yangtze realm, she directly soared to the 2nd level of the Yanjin realm. Ryan, my father asked me to come and find you, Qian said with a smile. There was a moment of silence in the room. Uncle Gu, what did he say? Qian took out a jade slip and passed it over. The jade slip flew into Liu Ruyan's boudoir. Inside the jade slip was a wisp of Qian's main body's divine soul, telling Liu Ruyan that Kun has been killed, and the Kun outside the door is his external avatar. Shock flashed in Liu Ruyan's eyes. She opened the door and invited Qian into her boudoir. Liu Ruyan looked at the Kun in front of her. He was indeed greatly different from before. Are you really what Uncle Gu said? Liu Ruyan was a little afraid to believe it. Gukun nodded and teased with a smile. You have a mole on the sole of your foot. When we were dual cultivating back then, I saw it very clearly. Liu Ruyan's face instantly blushed. Oh, Uncle Gu, you're shameless. Liu Ruyan's tone was a bit coquettish. She acted spoiled. Qian saw that the little girl was so shy that she was about to cry, so he didn't continue to tease her. How is it? More than a year. Have you let go of Ye Hao? Mentioning Ye Hao, Liu Ruyan's face did not have too many emotional fluctuations. It seems that Liu Ruyan has indeed let go of Ye Hao. I let go a long time ago. But forget it. It's all your fault. Uncle Gu is not going to pay attention to you anymore. Liu Ruyan turned her face away and stormed out. Qian also walked out, following behind Liu Ruyan. They arrived at the center of the Immortal Dynasty's main city. Here, the young geniuses within the Taishi, Immortal Dynasty's territory, had gathered. The teleportation array would soon be activated, arriving at the western domain on the edge of the 3-0 Dao provinces. Dao province. When the geniuses saw Gukun following behind Liu Ruyan, they thought that this was too normal. Ha ha! The dignified young clan leader of the Gu clan is actually so embarrassing. I heard that Liu Ruyan's virginity was taken by Gukun's father. TSK. What do you know? There's a hidden story in this. That's all fake. It's all to make Princess Ruyan give up that guy named Ye Hao. Gukun has been leaking for so long. It's really pitiful. He hasn't even held Princess Ruyan's hand. The Western Domain Dao Province was originally a remote Dao Province, located on the edge of the 3.00 Dao Provinces. But because it was the first to connect with the alien continent, it has now gathered countless living beings from the 3.00 Dao Provinces. The young geniuses, who love to lose their love and adventure, are always the first to arrive in the future. Human Emperor is born. The long-dormant teleportation array lit up with light. A young man in a dragon robe stood with his hands behind his back. Behind him, a terrifying phantom wearing an earth robe and an earth crown appeared. All the human races present had the urge to kneel and submit at this moment. Blood from their lips. True dragon. Another exclamation sounded. A miniature golden 5-clawed true dragon appeared. He seemed to deliberately confront the dragon-robed youth, stepping on the head of a human female. Using this human female as a mount, HMPH, the human race's emperor, will eventually become this true dragon's mount, not long after. A terrifying cicada cry came from the distance. Looking up, one could see the heavens and earth in the distance. There was a black shadow rapidly enlarging. The other party seemed to be running, bringing a terrifying momentum. Before long, a towering giant arrived. As it approached, the giant's body gradually returned to an ordinary person, but within his flesh and blood contained dragon roars and tiger howls. His chain and blood were surging, not losing to the pure-blooded true dragon, the young clan leader of the war clan. It's said that he once single-handedly annihilated millions of living beings and broke 10,000 techniques with one force. He also broke through my demon clan's million demon mountains and gluttonous orders. Compared speed with the vermilion bird, a pair of fists is comparable to thousands of divine powers. As more and more peerless geniuses arrived, an inconspicuous figure appeared in the crowd. Ye Hao also arrived at the Western Domain Dao Province. Looking at the terrifying auras of the geniuses, Ye Hao's heart surged. He couldn't help but want to suppress all of them. Senior, do you think I can suppress the heroes with my current strength? Ye Hao asked. Zhuangche Shenzhen, fighting is a means to obtain treasures. Your goal should be on opportunities. Ye Hao didn't take it to heart. The will to fight in his eyes surged. He believed that Zhuangche Shenzhen only wanted him to collect materials for reshaping his body. The rise of the strong is inevitably accompanied by countless slaughters. Ye Hao was confident that he would eventually crush the heroes and reach the top of the Supreme, achieving invincibility. At this time, Ye Hao discovered a group of people who had just arrived at the Western Domain Dao Province were from the Taishi Immortal Dynasty. In the crowd, he saw Gukun and Liu Ruyan chatting and laughing. Ye Hao was instantly furious. This bitch really doesn't know shame. Ye Hao's face was distorted with anger. I thought she had become Gu Qian's mistress. I didn't expect that she would cling to Gukun again. Gu Qian sensed a hostile gaze. Without even looking, he knew it was Ye Hao, and his lips curled up with a sneer. Oh, my dear treasure-hunting rat, don't let me down! Gu Qian's main body had already traversed the void. He will enter the left Dao realm alone, preparing to take the first step and seize the biggest opportunity of Ye Hao's journey, while the external avatar will follow behind Ye Hao, waiting for the right moment to strike. While there's still time, Gu Qian used the Gu Immortal command. to check the aura of nearby living beings. The external avatar possesses a part of Gu Qian's divine soul, and can also use part of the Gu Immortalize ability. A familiar aura found you. Gu Qian locked onto Ye Hao. How? Gu Qian let out a soft sound of surprise. He discovered that besides Ye Hao, there was also another person with an extremely strange aura. To be precise, it wasn't a person, but a pig cat. A big fat cat that's as fat as a pig. It was lying in the pouch of a demon king. Its two fat paws clutching a prey. It had already eaten half of it. If he wasn't mistaken, the prey it was eating was originally the cub in the demon king's pouch. At this time, the orange fat cat had eaten most of it. Gu Qian found that this demon king was very calm, as if it hadn't noticed anything. The reason why he noticed the fat cat was because the power of its aura was even denser and more enormous than Ye Hao's. Another protagonist. Gu Qian was a bit stunned. A fat cat is a protagonist. Gu Qian thought that there was something wrong with the Gu Immortalized performance. He reactivated it and looked at the fat cat. That's right! It was even more robust than Ye Hao's, a towering aura reaching the clouds. In the middle of the Tao, Gu Qian couldn't help but think that some novels on Earth had protagonists transmigrating into animals, such as snakes, pigs, or tigers. It wouldn't be surprising if there was a cat. And generally speaking, if they transmigrated into animals, they basically all had a system. Could this cat also have a system? Gu Qian's eyes were uncertain, whether it has a system or not. Gu Qian didn't know. Seeing this, the fat cat's luck, Gu Qian understood one thing. He wasn't the only one who had transmigrated. It's likely that a major event is about to happen in this Yuanhorn world, and that's why his soul transmigrated over. So, he was not the only transmigrator. This is normal. It's just that, as a fellow transmigrator, why is he the only one who is a villain? And others are all protagonists. They have golden fingers, and he has none. Gu Qian was depressed for a moment. Then he was relieved. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have a golden finger. It doesn't matter if he's not a protagonist. The so-called Sons of Destiny are just pawns of heaven. Isn't there a saying, my fate is up to me, not heaven? Since the Sons of Destiny have such good luck, they will definitely have to pay the price in the future. As a villain, if he knows who the Sons of Destiny are, why not just snatch it? He doesn't even have to bear the karma. Time passed. More and more top geniuses gathered in the Western Domain Dao province. Some by boat or teleportation array. Some by crossing the Dao provinces. Or were sent by their Dao guardians to the 3 Zero Dao provinces. Countless living beings. Countless races. There were human supremes, ancient beasts, and pure-blooded living beings. Some older generation figures sighed that in this era, geniuses were rising together, and heroes were vying for supremacy, indicating that a major event was about to happen. Gu Qian calmly watched everything. These geniuses were definitely not his target. As the master of the longevity Gu clan, Gu Qian's opponents are the forces behind these geniuses. As well as the Sons of Destiny, Gu Kun wasted so many resources just for a woman. You're really willing to spend it? A sarcastic voice sounded. It was the clan members of the side branch managed by Gu He. All of them were from the younger generation. It has to be said, the younger generation that Gu He cultivated, their strength is indeed quite good. The Gu clan's bloodline is quite pure. Divine light flowing through their bodies. Each of their eyes were like torches. The leader was a young girl, with a disdainful look in her eyes. But the depths of her eyes were full of disappointment. How much she wanted the younger generation to have a world-class, invincible leading figure. Unfortunately, Gu Kun was so pathetic. So what if he has the ancient holy body? Wasn't he still defeated by an unknown native of the low realm? The girl ignored Gu Qian and walked past with a group of younger clan members. Gu Kun is just a joke in the Gu clan. He was obviously the son of the clan leader, the young clan leader, but he turned out like this. It's all self-inflicted. Gu Qian's gaze was calm. Gu Kun, that stupid son, created this trouble, and he had to clean up the mess himself. What a pain! However, it is indeed necessary to integrate the Gu clan. To make all the Gu clan members proud of the bloodline of the longevity Gu clan, Liu Ruyan was a little embarrassed. I'm sorry, hey. Will become a qualified young clan leader. Gu Qian smiled, not caring at all. At this time, someone came to greet Gu Qian. Brother Kun, it's been a few years since we last met. Right, the person who came was a refined young man, with no beard on his face, holding a white rain fan. Based on Gu Kun's memories, Gu Qian learned this person's identity was the first disciple of one of the supreme Tao lineages, the Zhuanyuan sword sect, Li Zhenhan. His strength was unparalleled. Even among all the geniuses present, he had few opponents. In terms of strength, Li Zhenhan was above Gokun. The reason why he could hang out with Gokun was because of one reason. They were both licking dogs. Originally, Li Zhenhan didn't plan to come and greet Qian, but when he saw that Qian had actually succeeded in licking Liu Ruyan, he rushed over wanting to ask for some experience. Li Zhu, with your charm, can't you still win over your little junior sister? Qian was a little confused. Li Zhenhan was different from Gokun. He was kind and amiable, with countless followers and countless pursuers. A person like this was not a villain, and so affectionate. It's impossible for him not to succeed. But what Li Zhenhan said next made Qian's eyes light up. I'm ashamed, Brother Gu. I don't know what happened to my little junior sister. She actually fell in love with a trash artifact appraiser. Qian interrupted immediately. Wait, trash artifact appraiser? How is he a trash? Li Zhenhan thought about it. His aptitude is very poor, but his strength is not bad. He can challenge those in higher realms, and he doesn't seem to have ever lost. He came from humble beginnings. By chance, he became an outer disciple of my Zhuanyuan sword sect. He also got lucky and saved my little junior sister once. I've saved her so many times, but she's obsessed with him as if she's been bewitched. She has wholeheartedly devoted herself to him. She even gave the sword path inheritance I gave her to that kid. I hate it. The more Qian listened, the brighter his eyes became. A loser with a peach blossom luck, never lost. And the female lead is also brainlessly in love. Isn't this another one? Brother Li, you've come to the right person facing this situation. You only need to listen to my arrangements. You will definitely be able to regain your little junior sister's heart and also kick that kid aside. Liu Ruyan, listening from the side, felt a little embarrassed. Very naturally, she had put herself into the shoes of Li Zhenhan's little junior sister. It was as if she was also like that. Gokun was very good to her in every way, but he couldn't compare to her spending a few months with Ye Hao. Fortunately, Uncle Gu made her see through Ye Hao's true colors. Too many people, too big a target. Qian made Liu Ruyan and Li Zhenhan give up. The followers form a three-person squad. That's Lin Chen. Li Zhenhan's eyes locked onto a seemingly humble youth. The youth's face is somewhat tender, but his eyes are incredibly resolute, radiating vitality. Qian doesn't even need to use his ancient immortal eye to see. This kid is definitely a child of destiny. To class it, if I'm not wrong, his parents should be dead or missing. Qian casually asked. Li Zhenhan looked surprised. How do you know? He heard his little junior sister say that he came from the low realm, came to the upper realm to find his parents. Qian chuckled. Just a wild guess. Just looking at him, you know he lacked love growing up. Big brother, how can you tell? Liu Ruyan asked, puzzled. Is Lin Chen any different from the others? That's simple. Qian explained. His eyes carry a faint hint of sadness. His personality seems very withdrawn. People with a normal family background wouldn't be like that. Oh, Liu Ruyan nodded, seemingly understanding. I feel like Brother Qian is so amazing. No wonder he's an old monster. But does that have anything to do with little junior sister liking him? Li Zhenhan asked. Qian looked at Liu Ruyan. Ruyan, if you had to choose, would you choose Brother Li or Lin Chen? Or rather, which one are you more interested in? Liu Ruyan was still thinking. Qian interrupted. Don't think rationally. Be decisive. It should be Lin Chen that's more interesting, right? After all, we know everything about Brother Li, and Lin Chen came from the low realm and has no background. Plus, his parents are missing in the upper realm. The secrets on him make people curious. Qian looked at Li Zhenhan, smiling. He said, now you understand. Maintain a sense of mystery. It's always the best attraction for women. Undeniable. Brother Li, as the senior brother of the Zhuanyuan sword sect, and also the young master of the Li family, your status, background, and strength are impeccable. But you made a fatal mistake. Li Zhenhan was stunned by what Qian said, as if he had found a savior. He quickly cupped his fist and asked for advice. Please tell me, Brother Gu, where did I go wrong? Qian smiled. No, you're not wrong. Li Zhenhan was dumbfounded. One moment saying he has a fatal mistake, the next saying he's not wrong. Li Zhenhan felt like his brain wasn't working. Saying you're wrong is because of your excellence. You need to create a distance with your little junior sister. Don't let her obtain you too easily. Saying you're not wrong is because your actions are the paragon of a Tao partner, the dream lover of all female cultivators. A true man seemed to understand but didn't. Gu Qian said a classic line. Let me put it this way. A man's cultivation resources are for showing off to women, not for spending on them. Li Zhenhan was enlightened. I understand Brother Gu's meaning, although I am excellent, attractive enough to women. But I'm too nice to little junior sister, making her feel like what's mine is hers. So I have lost my sense of mystery to her. Gu Qian nodded. Liu Ruyan, as a woman, felt that Gu Qian's words weren't pleasant. But after thinking about it carefully, it was true. After all, she had been licked by Gu Kun before. She knew that feeling. Li Zhenhan quickly asked, I wonder if Brother Gu has a way to salvage the current situation, to make little junior sister have a sense of mystery towards me again. Gu Qian chuckled. Of course, I do, but what? Li Zhenhan was extremely anxious. I can help you win back little junior sister's heart, but on this trip, I need Brother Li to fully listen to my arrangements. Li Zhenhan didn't hesitate at all. As long as it doesn't violate my sword heart, I'll follow Brother Gu's orders. It's not that serious. What I mean is, listen to my arrangement, is to change the current situation between you and little junior sister. Not to serve me, Li Zhenhan was moved. As long as I can make little junior sister fall in love with me, I lay, oh Brother Gu, a huge favor. Gu Qian said slowly, first of all, you have to change yourself. You can't be so overly caring to little junior sister anymore. You need to ignore her. This is known as a tactical retreat. Playing hard to get, Gu Qian formed a hand seal, condensing a faint rune. This is a divine soul communication rune, to facilitate our secret communication. Next, just listen to me. Li Zhenhan took it and fused it into his purple palace. After that, the two could have divine soul communication. The distance was much further than voice transmission, like having a landline phone temporarily installed. Brother Li, go greet little junior sister first. Show indifference to the close interactions between little junior sister and Lin Chen. Act like you don't care. Then you must go back to comprehending the sword intent. Remember, absolutely do not show your love for little junior sister. Just treat her as an ordinary friend. Gu Qian emphasized, then Li Zhenhan and Gu Qian. And Liu Ruyan flew towards little junior sister. Gu Qian asked Liu Ruyan to activate slightly her celestial body, showcasing the power of Li Zhenhan's friend. To boost Li Zhenhan's momentum, this is also to tell little junior sister, your senior brother, Li Zhenhan's friends, are all top champions of 3.00 Great Tao. You are with a country bumpkin. You will definitely regret it. Just as Li Zhenhan was about to say hello, he heard Gu Qian's reminder. Don't call her little junior sister. Call her by her family name, Junior Sister Z. Li Zhenhan swallowed back the words he was about to say. Junior Sister Z. Li Zhenhan and the other two arrived in front of Xiao Ling'er and Lin Chen. Xiao Ling'er's eyes had undisguised disgust. She didn't like Li Zhenhan calling her Junior Sister Z instead of Ling'er, but she didn't care. Senior brother. As the senior brother of the Zhuanyuan sword sect, don't go and manage them. Why are you looking for me? Xiao Ling'er spoke impatiently. Under Gu Qian's guidance, Li Zhenhan's expression was calm. He replied, why? Is it not allowed for your senior brother to greet you? I heard that you gave the sword intent I gave you to someone else. So what? This is my private matter. It's none of your business. Xiao Ling'er glanced at Lin Chen, her eyes softening. When she looked at Li Zhenhan, her eyes were full of impatience, seeing that Xiao Ling'er was about to get angry. Li Zhenhan subconsciously wanted to comfort her, but under Gu Qian's words, his tone also became aggressive. None of my business. The sword intent was for you to assist in cultivating your sword Tao. Did you seek senior brother's agreement before you gave it to someone else? As he spoke, Li Zhenhan raised his hand. Give it back, otherwise, if outsiders grasp senior brother's sword intent, it will bring trouble to senior brother. Xiao Ling'er was stunned. She felt that her senior brother today was particularly strange, but she still defended Lin Chen. Brother Lin is not an outsider. Li Zhenhan pretended to frown. Am I not clear enough? I'm telling you to return the sword intent, not giving it to you. This was the first time Li Zhenhan lost his temper with Xiao Ling'er. Even if it was fake, he was still worried that Xiao Ling'er would break off all ties with him. Gu Qian comforted him. If Brother Li cares about the gains and losses of this relationship, he'd never win little sister's heart. No destruction, no construction. Destruction before construction. Zilian was stunned, then her eyes reddened. She said to Lin Chen, Brother Lin, give it back to him. We don't want his stuff. Lin Chen hesitated. From his storage ring, he took out a bamboo scroll covered with sword marks. You could feel an extremely sharp sword intent tearing through space. As the eldest brother of the Supreme Zhuanyuan sword sect, Li Zhenhan's sword Dao was far superior to Lin Chen's current one. So this sword insight, for the current Lin Chen, was definitely an extremely precious item. Qian told Li Zhenhan to take it. Take the sword insight and leave immediately. Don't linger. After the three left, Xiao Ling'er felt a surge of anger. At the same time, there was a sense of anxiety. She was in a terrible mood after going far. Li Zhenhan asked Qian with worrying all over his face. Brother Gu, senior sister, she won't break up with me because of this, will she? And let Lin Chen take advantage of my weakness? No, I was worried about that at first too. But the more upset he is, the more it proves one thing. She has you in his heart, Qian said with certainty. Li Zhenhan was stunned. Little sister has me in her heart, Qian nodded. The greater her emotional fluctuations, the more it proves that you have a significant place in her heart. You have to make him understand your intentions, instead of just being a lapdog who comes when called and goes when told. Senior brother, I see now. I have been taught. Li Zhenhan clasped his fist. What's next then? Qian chuckled. Don't rush. Let her stew a little. A few days later, on the edge of the Western Territory, countless creatures had gathered, but there were no strong presences like the great power of Qian's original body. They had already crossed the void with their cultivation. Standing on the edge of the Western Territory, in front of them was a fog. Look, that's the outline of a land different from the continent, a creature exclaimed. In the fog, a huge black shadow was slowly approaching. According to ancient records, when two realms meet, the world rules collide. Heavenly treasures will be born. When the Western Dao Domain and the Central Dao Domain merged, extreme great immortal energy appeared. It is likely a saint artifact will be born this time. Now that so many creatures have gathered in the Western Territory, countless bloody battles are sure to break out. According to the original story, there is indeed a top-tier treasure to be born, but not a saint artifact. Qian remembers it was a divine artifact, though not as good as the Xuantia Divine Palace. But that is still a divine artifact. Divine artifacts have a spirit. It will escape into the left Dao realm. Who will obtain it in the end is unknown. Anyway, that divine artifact wasn't Ye Hao's opportunity. Ye Hao's opportunity was even more heaven-defying. Qian wouldn't expect to have the protagonist's luck to obtain a divine artifact. He's just an external avatar right now. Even if his luck explodes and he's recognized by a divine artifact, probably the next second, he would be bombarded to death by countless geniuses and powerhouses, although he doesn't dare to hope for a divine artifact. If he could get one or two saint artifacts, that would be quite satisfying. As the left Dao realm got closer and closer to the 3,000 Dao domains, all the creatures could feel the magnificent and vast world rules squeezing and merging each other. The dazzling glow pierced through the void's clouds. Here it comes. All the creatures didn't dare to be careless. They all flew into the sky to prevent being buried in the spatial annihilation caused by the merging of the two realms. Even though they were very careful, there were still some creatures sucked into it by the suction generated when the two realms merged and instantly squeezed into a pile of minced meat by the world rules. The vast and boundless Western Territory was visibly compressed by the left Dao realm by more than half. The earth rumbled, the continent cracked. The so-called mountains were all like dust at this time. The part of the left Dao realm that merged was the same on the two continents where flying was impossible. Countless creatures died in this catastrophe. They could only run like crazy, but escaping was futile under the great force of the merging realms. For these creatures, the merging of the two realms was like the end. The world was ending. But for those in the sky, the dense, powerful creatures, an unprecedented opportunity had appeared. That's the destruction. The Black-Side Saint Supreme Treasure sells for millions of new coins. 11 pieces of world gold actually appear in heaps. What am I seeing? That is a world tree sapling. At this moment, all the creatures went crazy. Their eyes were bloodshot with a twisted madness. They had expected saint-level treasures to appear, but never imagined there wasn't just one saint-level treasure, but also top-tier saint-level super treasures. If one could obtain a world tree and plant it in their body, they would gain an indescribable power of creation. Even if only a drop of blood remained, they could instantly be reborn. Qian was also moved. Saint-level treasures. Even the earthly realm powerhouses would fight to the death to obtain them, not to mention the world tree. Such a super treasure, probably in the dark. The ancestors of the Supreme Daos have been waiting for a long time. As long as the two realms fully merge, the world rules return to normal. The battle will begin at this time. The Western Territory had already been destroyed by 2/3. The speed of the left Dao realm finally slowed down. And at this time, a divine light shot straight into the 9 heavens, piercing through billions of miles of sky. It was a bead that bloomed with a dazzling divine light, outshining the light of all other treasures. It was different from other treasures. Other treasures circulate the rules of the world, but it generates the world's rules, born innately. That divine artifact is mine. An unsettling laugh echoed through the 9 heavens. Next to the divine bead, the chaotic space seemed to have a door opened. A withered palm reached for the divine bead, but the next moment, everyone felt like they had been sliced in half. The withered palm had been chopped off, old fart. What's the rush? I said it. That damn divine artifact is mine. The chopped off palm actually grew flesh and blood, transforming into a gaunt Taoist who appeared next to the divine bead. But when he reached for the divine bead turned into a bubble. Not just the divine bead, even the nearby heaven and earth were like a curtain being pulled away. A mirage. The gaunt Taoist looked towards the other side of heaven and earth. Over there, a scholar-like youth was painting with his brush. He smiled at the gaunt Taoist. How is my painting? This is a chess game belonging to the 3,000 Dao domains. A confrontation of peak giants. Qian knew that his ancient clan's ancestor was among them, but it has nothing to do with him anyway. The divine bead will eventually escape into the left Dao realm. But what shocked Qian was that the divine bead was actually snatched away by a cat. This was completely beyond Qian's expectations. That's not how it was written in the original story. That cat was the same fat cat Qian noticed before. Orange in color, as fat as a pig. He didn't know how he entered the central area where world rules were chaotic, and under the noses of a group of peak powerhouses. Snatched the divine bead. The orange cat held the divine bead in its mouth, with the divine bead carrying him through, quickly disappearing into the mist of the left Dao realm. At this moment, all the creatures were stunned. They could only see his orange tail, swinging back and forth rapidly. This is fine too. Qian understood. That fat cat was definitely transmigrated from his old home on Earth, probably with a system. Otherwise, it would be impossible to do this. Only the bug-like abilities of the system could turn the impossible into the possible. Hey, this world is getting more and more interesting. First Ye Hao, then Lin Chen. They are still understandable, proper sons of destiny. But you, a fat cat, not even human, yet still a son of destiny, and able to do such a heaven-defying thing. Qian was speechless, but he wasn't worried either. The game has just begun. A divine artifact is nothing. As long as he gets Ye Hao's greatest opportunity on this trip, everything will be fine. Qian glanced at Li Zhenhan. He found this guy was secretly watching Xiao Ling'er and Lin Chen's side, probably afraid that a chaotic battle would erupt later, and Xiao Ling'er would be in danger. Qian chuckled. Later, little sister's side will definitely be in danger. Li Zhenhan was stunned. Brother Gu, why are you so sure? Need I say more? The female lead encounters danger. The male lead saves the beauty. How can such a classic cliché be missing? Don't ask too much. Just listen to me later. But as the left Dao realm completely merged with the 3,000 Dao domains, the chaotic and disorderly world rules returned to calm. In an instant, countless creatures dived downwards. Some creatures used the method of spatial travel, but they all shattered on the spot. This place has just returned to calm. But the space is still chaotic and disorderly. At this time, performing spatial travel is equivalent to being naked and crashing headfirst into a cave full of blades. At this time, a golden-winged ROC transformed into a stream of light and dived down. There were also sword cultivators riding their swords. The treasures all had spirits. Sensing danger, they madly tried to escape. The result was naturally a chaotic mess. All the creatures were fighting for the treasures. Qian's group of 3, as the leaders of the younger generation of the 3 supreme Daos. The leading figures of the younger generation. Naturally, no one dared to provoke them. Qian said to Liu Ruyan, treasures have spirits. Those with fate will obtain them. You don't need to stay by my side. Go fight for your own fortune. Ruyan, do you remember what I said to you before? You are a favored daughter of the heavens, not an appendage to anyone. Warmth rose in Liu Ruyan's heart. Okay, brother. A precious light bloomed from Liu Ruyan's brow, protecting her body. She rushed towards the destruction. After Liu Ruyan cultivated with Qian, Liu Ruyan's strength improved by a great realm, making her even more powerful than Li Zhenhan. After Liu Ruyan left, Li Zhenhan sighed, 5th brother. If my little sister could be half as attached to me as Ruyan, I'd laugh in my sleep. That day is not far away, Qian said with a smile. He looked towards Xiao Ling'er and Lin Chen. Lin Chen has self-awareness, knowing that with his current strength, he is not qualified to compete for saint-level treasures. He is competing for immortal energy with Xiao Ling'er. It was an immortal sword, upper-grade immortal energy level. Many sword cultivators were fighting for it. Qian asked Li Zhenhan, among those fighting for the immortal sword, are there some from your Yuan sword sect and your Li family? Are there any of the opposite sex that you have a good relationship with? Li Zhenhan scanned around. He pointed at a woman in white. She is a genius sword cultivator of my Li family. Li Wen is also a core disciple of the Yuan sword sect. We had some contact in the trial grounds before. Her character is very good. It's comfortable to be around her. I guess you could say we have a good relationship. What's wrong, Brother Gu? Qian looked at the woman called Li Wan. Her appearance was no less than Xiao Ling'er's, and her sword intent was far more fierce than Xiao Ling'er's. She shouldn't be a pushover, right? Li Zhenhan thought carefully. It doesn't seem like it. She likes to be alone. Then it's decided. It's her. Qian greatly admired Li Waner. She was the perfect fit to stimulate Xiao Ling'er. Brother Li, go join the fight right now. First, take down that immortal sword. Qian started directing him. Then he added, make sure your moves are cool. The more dazzling your moves are, the better. Li Zhenhan nodded. He quickly entered combat mode, the feather fan in Li Zhenhan's hand. He tossed it into the air, and it transformed into a long sword, radiating an incomparably sharp sword intent. The moment Li Zhenhan grasped the sword, his originally gentle aura transformed into an extreme sharpness. Li Zhenhan held the long sword. He flew with the sword, turning into a sword light, arriving at the battlefield where the immortal sword was being contested. Li Zhenhan's appearance caused the original contenders for the immortal sword to change their expressions drastically. Before this, Xiao Ling'er and Lin Chen were in danger. The reason was that the immortal sword was extremely fond of Lin Chen and was showing signs of actively recognizing him as its master. So other competitors were preparing to kill Lin Chen first. Just as Xiao Ling'er and Lin Chen were in danger, Li Zhenhan suddenly burst out, instantly breaking the deadlock, pressuring other sword cultivators. Although Xiao Ling'er was a genius sword cultivator in the Yuan sword sect, she lacked combat experience. After all, she used to follow behind Li Zhenhan, no matter how strong the opponent was. They would be cut down by Li Zhenhan in one sword strike, and there was no danger to her life. Xiao Ling'er's heart became arrogant again. When Li Zhenhan wins the immortal sword and gives it to her, should she refuse? Nam, better not refuse. After all, Brother Lin Chen doesn't have a handy immortal sword yet, especially since this immortal sword has a high affinity for Brother Lin Chen. If Brother Lin Chen can refine it, his strength will definitely improve greatly. For the sake of Brother Lin Chen, she would reluctantly forgive his rudeness in taking back the sword Dao insights earlier. Li Zhenhan's sword intent was overwhelming. His strength was unparalleled. Especially his moves were exceptionally dazzling. He was using ultimate moves every few seconds. In just a short time, 1/3 of the sword cultivators were severely injured and fled. Li Zhenhan's high profile naturally attracted other sword cultivators to unite. In an instant, Li Zhenhan was instantly targeted by all the sword cultivators and fell into a dangerous situation. Senior Brother Li, I'll help you. The white-clothed female sword cultivator, Li Wen, shouted, facing thousands of sword lights. She was not afraid and firmly stood in front of Li Zhenhan and fought alongside him. Originally, the sword cultivators of the Yuan sword sect and Li family were hesitant. After all, they all wanted the immortal sword. They didn't really want to help Li Zhenhan obtain it, but seeing Li Wen risking her life to help, they could only join in. Otherwise, they would be questioned by their elders later, and it would be troublesome to be labeled as not helping in a time of need. Senior Brother Li, I'll help too. Eldest brother, young master, with our support. Li Zhenhan's sword moves became even more unmatched. He was faintly showing the power to suppress the entire scene. Ling'er, should we go help? Lin Chen hesitated. Xiao Ling'er snorted. Help him for what? He took back the thing he gave me earlier. That stingy brat! Let him die! Waner, hide behind me! Leave everything to me! Li Zhenhan told Li Wen to stay behind him and faced a group of sword cultivators alone, watching Li Zhenhan enter a state of tranquility, holding his sword and flying. His tall and straight figure, with his power to overwhelm the audience, was mesmerizing. Li Wen was standing. Then, She looked at Ye Ling'er, feeling a little shy in her heart. She sighed. She knew that the reason Li Zhenhan was putting in so much effort was definitely to win the immortal sword for Ye Ling'er, and it will be for Ye Ling'er to use, even if Ye Ling'er didn't like it. Li Zhenhan would still do it without any regrets. If only I were Ye Ling'er. Li Zhenhan had a secret crush on this genius brother in their clan since she was a child. In an accident, he left her with an unforgettable, beautiful memory, even though he preferred inner sword Dao when he was young. To get closer to Li Zhenhan, she chose outer sword Dao. But when Li Zhenhan also entered the Zhuanyuan sword set with her excellent outer sword lineage, sword Dao talent, she found out, but discovered, that Li Zhenhan was always behind a little girl, being incredibly nice to her, pampering her in every way. She could only stay in the background, silently watching Li Zhenhan's figure, envious of Ye Ling'er for being able to enjoy all of Li Zhenhan's love. The fight of sword cultivators is always fast. Li Zhenhan seized the immortal sword amidst countless sword lights and held it high above his head. The immortal sword has been taken by Li. If anyone dares to attack Li again, don't blame Li for showing killing intent. At this time, Li Zhenhan had many sword marks on his body. His robes were stained red with blood, but his eyes were incredibly stern. Those within his gaze all showed some wise sword cultivators, clasped their fists, and then turned to the next treasure battlefield. Li Zhenhan lowered the immortal sword and looked towards Ye Ling'er. Ye Ling'er's heart was delighted, and she was subconsciously about to go forward. But when she thought about Li Zhenhan taking back the sword Dao insights earlier, she pulled a long face. When Li Zhenhan subconsciously was about to use the immortal sword to please Ye Ling'er, he was stopped by Qian. Brother, don't you see it yet? She's taking your kindness for granted. If you give him the immortal sword, he'll turn around and give it to Lin Chen, who he likes. What you need to do now is to break this habit of his. Let him know the reason you were so good to him before was because you saw him as your love. Now that he likes Lin Chen, let Lin Chen give him good things, but that trash Lin Chen will only leech off of him and hide any treasure he gets. Once he realizes his mistake, he'll return to your side and actively cling to you. Li Zhenhan sighed. He wasn't stupid either. He naturally understood that he couldn't just blindly please her. It's just that his feelings for Ye Ling'er were too deep. Simply put, he had given too much, and it had become a habit. Am I giving the immortal sword to Li Wen now? Li Zhenhan asked. That's right. Li Wen, this woman, in your time of need, dared to fight without fear of death. That kind of woman. Even if you don't like her, you can't owe her. A woman like Li Wen, to Qian, is definitely one of his own. Too bad she's Li Zhenhan's woman. Li Wen stood in the sky, wiping the blood from the corner of her mouth, silently watching Li Zhenhan's back. She knew that next, Li Zhenhan would give the immortal sword that he worked so hard to obtain to Ye Ling'er. She wanted to say, Ye Ling'er was just watching from the sidelines just now. She doesn't have you in her heart at all. Don't be so good to her anymore. But she herself was just an outsider in Li Zhenhan's eyes. Right, just as her eyes lowered, a sword flowing with brilliant starlight appeared before her eyes. Wanner, thank you. Li Zhenhan was covered in blood and handed the sword to Li Wanner and slightly turned his head, revealing a smile that was like a warm spring breeze. Li Wanner was instantly stunned in place. There was no sword in her eyes. There was only Li Zhenhan's eyes. Smiling at her, all me, senior brother Li, is this immortal sword for me to keep? Li Wanner was a bit incoherent. Li Zhenhan shook his head. Thank you for earlier. This immortal sword is a gift from me to you. Li Wanner's mind blanked, and she was stunned on the spot for a moment. Is it really for me? Is it a gift from senior brother Li to me? After reacting, Li Wanner quickly declined. No, no, no! Senior brother Li, this is too precious! Wanner doesn't dare to accept it. Around them, the people of the Zhuanyuan sword sect and Li family were dumbfounded. I didn't see wrong, right? Eldest brother fought for this immortal sword, not to give to senior sister Ling'er, although it wasn't given to me. But Wanner is also of my Li family. It's still 100 times better than giving it to that unappreciative woman. See, Ling'er, I'm not of the Li family, but I also think what eldest brother did was right. Wanner was able to act without hesitation when eldest brother was in danger, which is 100 times better than someone who just stood aside and watched. At first, I thought senior brother Li was going to give the treasure to Ye Ling'er, and then have Ye Ling'er give it to that trash Lin Chen. I felt very uncomfortable, but if it's senior sister Wanner, that's much better. Wanner is not only beautiful. Faced with the surrounding sword cultivators' discussions, Ye Ling'er's face turned red. She glared fiercely at Li Zhenhan and turned to leave. HMPH. I'll definitely not forgive you this time. Xiao Ling'er felt extremely awkward. Clearly, before, senior brother Li would always give her the best things. But what's going on now? Not only did he take back the sword insights, he even gave the immortal sword she had her eyes onto someone else. And it was a woman. Xiao Ling'er was full of grievances and indignation, and she left without looking back. Lin Chen was a little disappointed. He glanced regretfully at the immortal sword in Li Wan's hand. If Li Zhenhan had given it to Xiao Ling'er would probably give it to him. It's a pity. Li Zhenhan forced the immortal sword onto Li Wan. It was considered as repayment for Li Wan's help. Senior brother Li, it was my duty to act. We are both of the Li family, and both disciples of the Zhuanyuan sword sect. Li Zhenhan wouldn't know what to say. The words were still from Qian, telling Li Zhenhan what to say. Wanner, actually, the reason I gave you the immortal sword is because I want to team up with you to explore the alien continent. Li Zhenhan, on Qian's behalf, extended an olive branch to Li Wanner. Li Wen refused. Li Zhenhan then said, quickly refine it. Brother Gu is about to fight for a treasure. We need to go help him as soon as possible. Qian's eyes were now looking at the second best treasure, other than the divine artifact. The top-tier saint-level treasure, the World Tree. The World Tree had amazing creation for the ancient holy body, and could greatly unleash the true power of the ancient holy body. In the original story, the World Tree was obtained by Ye Hao, and using the Zhuangtia divine palace and evil treasures, he escaped into the Left Dao realm. Through the ancient immortal fate eye, the ancient immortal discovered that Ye Hao was snatching other treasures, probably planning to wait until the other treasures were almost all taken, before taking the World Tree, and then directly using the Zhuangtia divine palace to run away. Ye Hao's strength was very strong. He had already risen. Even Gu Han, who possessed the ancient holy body, had been defeated by him twice. After not seeing him for more than a year, he had indeed become a lot stronger again. Qian knew that without using his trump cards, he was absolutely unable to defeat Ye Hao. And if he did use his trump cards, Ye Hao had the Zhuangtia divine palace with him. The Zhuangtia divine sovereign would not let Ye Hao fall into a desperate situation. He definitely could run faster than this kid. He needed to think of a way to not let him get the World Tree, and also waste one time of Zhuangtia divine palace's escape for his life. Before long, Li Zhenhan and Li Wen arrived at Qian's side. Brother Gu, you want the World Tree? Li Zhenhan looked at that sapling that was radiating world rules. Don't rush. First, let's help Ryan get the mutilation black scythe. The fight for the World Tree is still fierce. A group of human geniuses, pure-blooded creatures, ancient immortals, descendants of ancient gods, etc., are having a decisive battle. They won't be able to decide a victor anytime soon. On the other side, the battlefield where Liu Ruyan was, with the destruction Black Lotus, was also incredibly fierce, as a saint-level treasure. Although the destruction Black Lotus is not as good as the World Tree, it is also an innate spirit root. Not only can it help the holder to comprehend the destruction Tao, but it also has a world-destroying formation, which is a super-killing array with unparalleled techniques. Disregarding the heaven's might, Liu Ruyan, among the geniuses of the 3,000 Tao domains, was enough to be placed in the same tier as Li Zhenhan, the strongest tier. And the current Li Zhenhan, his cultivation is only at the peak of the illusion realm, while Liu Ruyan had already reached the truth realm. So Liu Ruyan had a very high probability of obtaining the mutilation Black Lotus. Qian wasn't worried about the other geniuses, but was afraid that there were powerhouses acting in the dark, interfering with the fights of the geniuses. Ruyan, we're here to help you. Qian sent a divine sense transmission to Liu Ruyan. With Qian's transmission, Liu Ruyan felt confident in her heart. The power of the limpid ice field inside her body, amplified by the immortal bead on her head, unleashed a large amount of extreme cold beams, performing an indiscriminate attack. The limpid ice field was the power of the ultimate yin source, with ultra-low temperature destructive power. And for Liu Ruyan to possess such power at less than 100 years old, she was even suppressing the faces of the other geniuses with shock. A pure-blooded snow vermilion sparrow with white hands and bare feet, who thought her physical body was unmatched, used her body to forcibly fight against the extreme cold beams, but after only 3 seconds, the vermilion sparrow's expression changed drastically and retreated frantically. When she retreated to a safe distance, she forcefully crashed her 2 arms together, and her 2 thick arms actually shattered into ice shards. Good, the vermilion sparrow roared at Liu Ruyan. Her roar was mixed with anger and pain. Even the vermilion sparrow was like this. The other creatures were even more miserable. as long as they were brushed by the extreme cold beams. Their bodies would definitely be directly destroyed. Even their vitality was frozen. What was even more terrifying was that some people's physical bodies were frozen to death, and even their souls couldn't escape. How strong? How is this possible? Clearly she had only just broken through to the illusion realm not long ago. How long has it been? She's actually reached the truth realm. No! We must join forces with the other geniuses and immediately reach the same goal. To defeat Liu Ruyan first, Qian and his group of 3 arrived at Liu Ruyan's side after obtaining the mutilation Black Lotus. Follow my orders. Qian tapped Liu Ruyan's brow and transmitted the heaven-locking earth-sealing tar to her. Li Zhenhan's eyes looked towards a black-clad man whose cheeks had black scales and horns on his head. His strength is probably up to me to deal with. Qian looked at the black-clad man and recognized his identity, the pure-blooded Nilong. The dragon race was already strong, and pure-blooded dragons possessed an unmatched true dragon bloodline divine ability, and Nilong fed on pure-blooded dragons. Just by standing there, he made people feel like he would destroy everything. Through the ancient immortal fate, Qian, discovered that Nilong did not have a destiny Dao pillar, but was just a defiant, a rebel against the heavens. A vicious black dragon that defies destiny. Li Zhenhan was not his opponent. Qian could foresee Li Zhenhan's defeat, but it didn't matter. He just needed to stall him. Qian stared at Nilong, and an unprecedented greed appeared in his eyes. Even when seeing the mutilation black scythe, the world tree, or even the divine beat, Qian's expression was very calm. Only this Nilong. Qian wanted to absorb his Nilong destiny, because Nilong was a strange creature of defying nature, not within the control of the heavenly Dao. Even if he killed countless creatures, it would not cause the heavenly Dao to send down world-destroying lightning. And if he could obtain the Nilong destiny, to guard his own destiny Dao pillar, in that way, killing the Sons of Destiny would be like killing chickens and dogs, even if he did kill them. So what? Nilong was born to destroy. Treasures had spirits. Qian could sense that the mutilation Black Lotus wanted to choose a master, and it was this wicked dragon. But the mutilation Black Lotus was hesitating. If Nilong was its master, then no matter how he broke through or anything else, he would be under the heavenly Dao's extra attention and might be bombarded to death. Qian withdrew his greedy gaze. He can't kill him for the time being. He should get the mutilation Black Lotus first. There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future. Qian didn't take action, but lingered on the edge, while Li Zhenhan stalled him. Nilong was too strong for anyone to fight head-on. Liu Ruyan's limpid ice field. Damn, how much energy does she still have in her body? Liu Ruyan slowly headed towards the mutilation Black Lotus, with the immortal bead on her head radiating. Countless extreme cold beams were hidden in the dark, waiting for an opportunity, and it made other cultivators unable to get close. And they couldn't escape into subspace either. All the geniuses could only watch helplessly as Liu Ruyan approached. The mutilation Black Lotus, whoosh, just then, a point of cold light flew straight for Liu Ruyan's brow. It was an arrow that had crossed half the battlefield and killed dozens of creatures. A swordsman streaked across the sky. The creatures that were shot were blown apart. The blood mist was quickly absorbed by the swordsman, making him even more unmatched. A great power from outside the field had taken action. It should be an opposing Dao tradition from the Taixi Immortal Dynasty. Otherwise, they wouldn't have violated the basic rules and attacked the younger geniuses. Taixi Immortal Dynasty has no one left above the 9 heavens. The old monster of the Taixi Immortal Dynasty took action. He pointed his finger, and a beam of light that could destroy the heavens and the earth erupted. But in the dark, there were other great powerhouses, preventing the old monster of the Taixi Immortal Dynasty from acting. Then the elders of the Gu clan also took action to stop the other great powerhouses from stopping the old monster of the Taixi Immortal Dynasty from acting. Great powerhouses who were at odds with the Gu clan also took action to stop the Gu clan's clan leader from stopping the other great powerhouses, from stopping the old monster of the Taixi Immortal Dynasty from acting. Great powerhouses who were at odds with the Gu clan and the great powerhouses of their opposing Dao traditions took action again, one link after another. In just a moment, a group of great powerhouses had already started a chaotic battle. The arrow had already arrived in front of Liu Ruyan, about to pierce through her brow and kill this peerless genius, destroying the rules. How can I let you have your way? A cold, faint voice exploded in the ears of all the creatures. Time seemed to have stopped. only a pair of white jade-like hands, tore through the chaotic and disorderly subspace. A finger stretched out from the palm and touched the arrowhead. In an instant, an indescribable power of annihilation devoured everything. The arrow turned into a group of the smallest extraordinary particles and dissipated in the world. Those hands returned to the subspace again, and the space returned to calm. The next moment, above the 9 heavens, golden blood rained down from the sky, faintly. One could hear the wails of countless creatures. The magnificent vitality energy transformed into clouds and started a light rain. The path of heavens was destroyed. A great powerhouse above the Shenyuan realm had fallen. Who made the move? All creatures were in shock. In just an instant, a powerhouse in the Shendi realm was killed. Then the cultivation of the entity that made the move was at least in the ancient immortal realm or even the Changsheng realm. All the creatures know the fallen great power in the Shendi realm was the great power who had attacked Liu Ruyan because he had destroyed the rules, relying on his high cultivation to attack a junior and wanted to kill her in the cradle. He was taking a chance, believing that the true giant-level entities were all chasing after the divine artifact and had entered the alien continent. But he never imagined that in the dark, there was still Qian, who had anticipated this. In the original story, there was also a great powerhouse who was about to attack Ye Hao, and the result was that he was killed by the entity maintaining the rules. This was a basic rule of the 3,000 Dao domains. All powerhouses above the Shenyuan realm needed to abide by. If you attack the younger generation, then I will definitely take revenge. And thus it would fall into a vicious cycle. Your own Dao traditions carefully cultivated successors. With countless resources poured into them, you can just kill them so casually, and they won't even get to see their day of rise. So, for this kind of powerhouse who attacks the younger generation, everyone should kill them. Taking advantage of everyone's attention being drawn by the shocking scene, Qian took out a golden rope and used it to capture the destruction Black Lotus. When the others reacted, they all took action to stop him, but they were repelled by the immortal bead on Liu Ruyan's head. With Liu Ruyan's strength, as long as nothing unexpected happened, obtaining the destruction Black Lotus was a sure thing. And now with the help of Qian and Li Zhenhan, they quickly took the destruction Black Lotus into their hands. With the destruction Black Lotus in hand, it still needed to be refined before the treasure would completely belong to Liu Ruyan. The destruction Black Lotus was a saint-level treasure, and it was difficult to refine. Qian sacrificed that top-grade immortal energy level immortality binding lock and had it firmly bind the destruction Black Lotus, making it easier for Liu Ruyan to refine. However, the immortality binding lock was corroded by the destructive power of the destruction Black Lotus and turned completely black. It was clearly useless now. Thank you, brother. Liu Ruyan stood on the destruction Black Lotus. Her face was filled with joy. In the distance, on a battlefield where treasures were being fought over, Ye Hao saw this scene. His face was twisted in anger. That bitch! Deep in his sea of consciousness, the Xuantia Divine Sovereign reminded him, the fight for the World Tree is about to end. Don't worry about a woman anymore. She has nothing to do with you now. Cultivation is more important. Having initially refined the destruction Black Lotus, Liu Ruyan's strength rose again. Seeing that Li Zhenhan was still fighting Nilong to the death, Qian told Liu Ruyan to go help him. Miss Ruyan, there is no need to help. This is Li's battle. Li Zhenhan had now reached the point of fighting Nilong with his full strength. Liu Ruyan looked towards Qian and asked Qian for his meaning. Qian was speechless. These favored children of the heavens liked individualism too much. The World Tree is more important. When can't we fight? Then, Qian directly led Liu Ruyan to attack Nilong, brother. When you can gang up, why fight one-on-one? Li Zhenhan, who was still fighting Nilong to the death, was stunned. At this time, Nilong had not even revealed his true form. It could be seen that he was still dealing with Li Zhenhan with ease. But faced with Liu Ruyan's limpid ice field, which had destructive power, Nilong's expression also changed. He did not dare to fight against it head-on, and quickly retreated. Qian pulled Li Zhenhan and headed toward the World Tree. At this time, the World Tree battlefield had already reached its final stages, and was also at its most intense. Ye Hao was also lurking among the crowd, waiting for an opportunity. As long as there was an opening, he would take the World Tree in one fell swoop, and then use the Xuantia Divine Palace to escape the battlefield and enter the Left Dao realm. Hehe, keep fighting anyway. The World Tree will fall into my hands in the end. Ye Hao suddenly thought of something. Senior, before, didn't you obtain a bead that contained destructive power? Can you transmit it to Gukun and Liu Ruyan's side? For Gukun and Liu Ruyan, Ye Hao wanted to kill them with all his might. Although the one he hated most was Qian, he also had self-awareness and knew that he could not fight Qian now.